we got excited about these various states of consciousness. And as these expanded more and more, we developed them into programs. The first of those occurred in 1974 with a program we call Gateway.
The Gateway Voyage establishes your relationship with non-physical energy. Participants are taught to convert the first stage of sleep into what is called Focus 10, where the mind is awake and the body asleep. With over 60% of the mind remaining active without sensory signals, you directly experience that consciousness extends far beyond physical reality. From Focus 10, you are introduced to even greater focus states, each representing a further freedom from the box of earthbound illusion.
These frequency following responses being able to affect the human brain and the way the human brain and human consciousness acts or reacts, we found that if we were able to in turn induce one signal in one ear and another in the other ear, the difference is the signal we were looking for. This is not something original with us. It's something that's been known for a long time, but we merely applied our frequency following response technique to this, what is called binaural beat. And that beat frequency, the difference between one signal and the other, as applied individually in each ear, let the human brain synthesize that third signal. For example, if, well, let me show you how that's done. It's very simple. I'll turn here, for example, and as I turn here, I will push this up, and that creates one signal. Now, that being, say, the signal that we would put in the left ear. I then push and introduce this second signal, and you'll notice that there is a wavering in the signal that you hear. That wavering is our ability to get down to the low frequency of the human brain signals, the human electrical signals in the brain. This low frequency signal, that wavering that you hear, is the one that gets into the brain. Now, if we take and put one of those signals in one ear and the other in the other ear, then that wavering is not heard in either ear, but the human brain synthesizes that signal. Therefore, in order to do this, both the left and right hemispheres of the brain must synchronize. They must act in unison to produce that third signal, to hear it, as it were. Although the human brain never really hears it, but it does create the electrical signal. And in doing so, because they are in synchronization, the synchronized signal is on the order of maybe 3 to 10 times higher in amplitude than the typical brain synchronized signal. And there are many synchronized waveforms always at work within the brain, but this enhances one particular frequency and one or set of frequencies to a degree, as I say, very far beyond the typical brain synchronization. And what we found was that certain types of waves or sound patterns did indeed affect human consciousness. What we used then, first of all, we got into the use of sound because we were looking for the borderland sleep state, and we needed some way without drugs in order to help people get to a sleep state where we could research that borderland consciousness just prior to sleep. We then, as a result, came up with a pattern that showed certain waveforms would create what we call a frequency following response in the human brain. Ergo, change the waveform and you change the response. This means that we were able to help people go to sleep and put them to sleep and wake them up simply by sound, this frequency following response. And from there it evolved in many directions, but that was the start point. Waking people up, putting them to sleep, and then getting in various levels of sleep through sound.